Greetings, this is Dr. Sweta Adatia from the Limitless Brain Lab. Thank you to all of you who have been a part of this channel. Today we are going to explore something which I thought was completely a woo-woo. I thought that, people are just overhyping this concept called karma until and unless I actually evaluated from the lens of neuroscience. So from the lens of neuroscience, let us see what really karma entails. Now, we often say that, a deed or an action can give a result and an outcome. And what is that outcome doing to your brain? Now, do write in the comment section if you do believe that karma or karmic record is something that you are worried about, something that you are always careful about, that something that you did wrong to others can come back to you, something that you did good to others can come back to you. Now, I was also under this dilemma many years back before, when I suffered and struggled with an emotional crisis. I always thought that, oh my God, I think my karma is bad. But then the question comes is, how do I decide if I am on the wrong side of the karma or I'm on the right side of the karma? Am I on the receiving front or am I on the giving front? So karma has always been something which is extremely fascinating for me, until and unless I little bit dwell deeper and started to understand what really means to be a karma or means to have the karma. So karma is nothing but the deed and action. Now, let us think for a little while. I want you to pause this video and think about this a little bit, because if you will think, you will quickly understand the answers to a lot of your problems that you are suffering. If you are going through a mental pressure, if you are going through relational issues, if you are going through wealth problems, if you are going through repetitive losses, if you are going through an action where everything seems to be like a pattern, this is where karma is talking to you. This is where neuroscience comes into play. So let us think from the beginning. Do not go away until the end, because we will decipher the nuts and bolts and the underpinnings of what karma is from the perspective of the neuroscience. Now, I'm a neurologist, Dr. Sweta, and having studied brain for over years, one thing I have understood is that all the answers lie in the brain, and the second part, all the remaining answers lies in the breath. Yes, very soon we are also going to come up with a beautiful podcast on brain and breath jugalbandi. Stay tuned for that, and it is going to be a surprise guest as well. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe, and do not forget to hit on that tinkle button, because immediately these kind of important topics where you have been seeking the answers would be in your desktop. So let us understand from the brain's perspective and the karma what really is happening. Now, think for a moment. Do you think before you act? Do you act and not think? Do you not think and not act? What is the relationship between thinking and action? It is very clear that whatever the thought will be happening in your mind is how your action will be. Now, if you are thinking negative, positive actions are impossible. If you're thinking positive, negative actions are impossible. This is pure mathematics. Well, for the people who keep on having losses in their life, who keep on having karmic troubles, which means problems which are coming over and over again, it is essentially completely from the limbic loop. Now, limbic brain is one part of the brain which is always in fight, flight, fear and freeze. Something happens, you remember it, and you associate with it with deep pain. Something happens, you run away from a situation. Something happens, you actually start to fight out. We all do that. We all completely every time do that. But the question comes is, do you learn lesson from it? The moment you will learn lesson, your limbic trigger or your alarm will completely vanish. When you have learned the lesson, exactly the repetitive situation now will not create panic. It will not create this fight, flight, fear and freeze. And that is the neuroscience moment, or that is the aha where the karma dissolves. That is where the efforts, the whatever you put in, will not give you the output which is not suitable to you. That is the beauty of it. Now, if you have been doing positive deeds, if you are doing good karmas, you have been very kind, you are a gentle soul, you have been doing everything great, and you still feel things are not happening right, this is again a second point of contemplation. Now, many people, write down in the comment section, who have been thinking that, yes, I have been doing great things, I have been doing something wonderful, but still right things are not happening in my life. Now, why is that happening? Let us for a moment think what happens when you're doing right actions. Immediately ask yourself, is it for selfish purpose? Is it for purpose where you want to get something from the person? Is it conditional or is it unconditional? The time that effort becomes unconditional, which means your brain is not expecting anything in return, automatically there is no limbic loop. It is completely coming from the higher centers, the higher prefrontal cortex in the brain, and automatically you will be released from that outcome. Now, this is exactly the same saying of Bhagavad Gita. The chapter which is on the karma yoga exactly says the same thing. Karmaneva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, which means you have all the right to act, but you have no right on the outcome. And this is essentially totally 100% neuroscience. Now, let's come to the third factor of it, that you have been dealing with lot of negative things. You have been really struggling in life. You have been really down into your this, and suddenly something comes up where you get a ray of hope. Something happens which is very positive, something which is very cheerful, and suddenly all that negativity vanishes. So what is that point of karmic deflection? Where does it come from? Well, it comes from when your limbic loop is released, when suddenly you have all the light shining in the prefrontal cortex, which means I can think right, I know where I'm going, I know exactly what I'm doing, I know who's prompting me, who's pushing me. Suddenly a teacher appears in your life, suddenly a friend appears in your life, suddenly all that happens. Now, that is the third situation. But for all of this, the very first condition is you have to watch what you think and you have to watch what you act. The act of thinking about thinking is called metacognition, and the act of acting after a lot of thinking is what is dhyana, is nothing but what is having mindfulness. You don't just go and act. So karma is nothing but those deeds, those brain loops which are continuously forcing you to act, those loops which is making you continuously work day in and day out, sometimes as patterns. So karma is nothing but those patterns looping inside your brain. Greetings all of you, and I'm super excited to welcome you for one of a kind of a retreat which is going to happen in India. There was a lot of requests for a lot of people from a lot of people across saying that we want the Limitless Brain retreat to be in India. We listened to that, and thanks to the Limitless Brain Lab, we are going to have it in Lonavala. It is going to happen, mark your calendars, 27, 28 and 29th of November 2026. What will you get? You will get amazing insights about manifestation, meditation, longevity hacks, how to get your brain into the peak performance. What are those secrets? How can you do that? What will you do to make it happen in your life? So many things which will be discussed. It is going to be a 3 days and a 2 nights retreat. We will all be together. Lots and lots of fun, lots of group exercises, group activities, live brain modulation, live experiments, and we will be a part of the family together. Limitless Brain 1 was amazing, 2 was amazing, and I hope to see some of the participants again. So do not delay, because we have some special early bird discount which is until 30th of April 2026. Go ahead and block your seats today. I'm going to see you at the retreat. Link in the bio and link in the description, or just say retreat and we will share you all the details. See you soon, all of you. Now, what should you do? Let me give you 5 general consensus to avoid getting bad karmas and automatically to generate great deeds and outcomes in your life. The very first thing is, please always be mindful as you are having a transaction. Always understand that every single transaction, which means an exchange, has to have a give and take. If you are overtly giving, it will eventually hurt, because it will eventually be coming from the expectation from the limbic system. So essentially giving or essentially too much taking is against the law of the karma, essentially, which is against the law of neuroplasticity or the brain control. The second thing is, whenever you do an action, whenever you do something out of good intention, which means you know clearly you have a great intention to it. Even if the action goes wrong, do not worry about it. Do not fright over it. Do not feel guilty about it, because intention is finally what matters. Now, why intention matters? Because heart and the brain has a direct bridge. Whatever you feel, that is what you think, that is what you speak, and that is what you act. If your four coherences are happening in order, which means your life is done. So that is point number 2. Point number 3 about the karma is never evaluate. Never say, why did this happen to me? Why I have to suffer? The moment you say why, you are getting drawn into the emotional limbic circuit and loop. And this is causing all the problems for you. So instead of saying why me and why this to me, start saying wow me. I want you to wow me. Every single problem that comes in, everything that comes in now is going to make me better. So point number 3 is no why me, wow me. The fourth important point from the perspective of karmic, this is always do the best and leave the rest. Leave the rest to the higher purpose, to the higher intention to serve you, to help you. Because sometimes what happens is, in the pursuit of doing actions, we are continuously only focused on the outcomes. Now when that happens, again there is fight, flight, fear and freeze. The moment you eliminate fight, flight, fear and freeze, that's it, you are done and sorted. The fifth and most important karmic law, and this is a law which you cannot miss to apply in your life. Now, first of all, this law states, it is like a gravitational force. Gravitational pull will pull all of us down. There is no exception that I am not a part of gravitational pull or you are not a part of gravitational pull. Similarly, the moment you are breathing, the moment you are alive, every single moment you are gaining karmas, which means you are constantly doing the deeds, which is why even if you think wrong things in your mind, you may be doing those karmas or doing those deeds. You have not acted out, but still the effect will stay, which means even in the mind, you have to be mindful of the thinking. If I want bad for another person, that means I'm only hurting myself. I'm deepening my stress hormones, I'm deepening my adrenaline, I'm deepening my noradrenaline, all the things which is going to eventually hurt me. So if you have any hatred towards somebody, please eliminate that, because you are building that karma. If you're having bad feelings, ill feelings, something which is not disturbing you, which is continuously behind the scene, you want bad for that other person, you don't like the money of the other person, you don't like the relationship, please stop it, because this is creating a huge brain damage, and this damage is nothing but the circuitral issues, which means your brains are getting damaged, atrophied, and brain is shrinking. All of this is eventually going to take a toll on your DNA or on your imprint of your genetic makeup. And that is the reason why generational trauma, we talk of that, is the why the generational karma, we talk of generational things, we don't just talk of it randomly. There is a deep science behind it. My brain circuits, my brain chemicals, everything is impacting my genetic makeup. My genetic makeup is not just my genetic makeup. I am going to be transferring and transmitting that genetic makeup to my progeny, and my progeny is going to further have the progeny. So it is kind of a generational loop. So have these 5 very powerful karmic principles. If you understand it, you will continue to keep your brain strong. You will continue to have a great output to life. Gratitude, grace, feeling amazing, feeling super good, feeling nice, everything will emerge. Your single contribution to the channel is doing an excellent karma, because that is coming back in the form of research, in the form of things where people are benefiting by it. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey. I am extremely obliged and humbled by your gracious presence in my life. I must have done some excellent deeds to have had the brain where I can teach you, I can learn from you everything about the neuroscience. So please do suggest this video to your fellow loved ones, because finally, once and for all, we need to break the karmic cycle of us being on this planet Earth. I've told something very profound, very evolutionary, where I don't want to revolve but I want to evolve into a higher being, into the supreme consciousness. And that is the purpose why we are born here. Well, it is deeply scientifically spiritual and spiritually scientific. We will not take it in this topic, but going ahead, many such topics to come. So thank you so much for being with us on this journey of Limitless Brain Lab.